So yesterday's session we discussed some fundamental things of the shift. Let's continue those one. First we discuss about the shift data types. So integer, uint, those are primitive data type which comes from the C language and which has a different variations, 8, 16 and 32, as well as 64-bit compatibility depends on the operating system. Float is a 32-bit float value, double is a 64-bit double value. Bool is going to store true or false, string is going to maintain the collection of characters, character is going to maintain the single character, and there is a specific thing called optional. Optional is not a data type, it is one kind of behavior in the shift which says to the compiler either data can be hold or the data is a nil. So tuple in the sense it is going to maintain the group of the values in a single component. Group of the values can be the same type or can be the different type. So optional. So in shift is a powerful concept, compatibility issue, optional in the sense nothing but either it can store the value or nil. So whenever we are going to create an optional variable in shift, we have to make what? Question mark. But if you are working with the optional, don't treat that is a normal variable. Whenever the variable is optional, in order to access the data, you have a different kind of approach that is called unwrapping. So if you are working with optional, in order to access the data, always you have to unwrap the data. So in order to unwrap, there should be a crash-free unwrapping process. So what is crash-free wrapping in the sense? Either you can use the forced wrapping concept, either you can use the normal wrapping. So what is type alias? Type alias is nothing but is a keyword which is used to create a dummy name or nickname to existing data type. Shift optional means it can maintain the data or it can be the null. What is the use of optional? Anyone can tell me what is the use of optional? Why optionals are there in the shift?
To avoid the crashing of the application first.
No.
Or to determine whether the value is in the variable or not.
No, if you want to use a variable straight away, you can use a variable, but optional has a some specific concept actually. Why optional in the sense the primary is memory management. See, I want to create a variable. I don't want to maintain throughout the application, or I want to use a variable for the somehow later I want to deallocate the memory. So for every variable you can't do like this. So what this optional is going to do, whenever you have a variable and that variable later you don't want to use, simply you can make a nil. So use the variable until it's required. Once you say nil, the memory will be destroyed automatically. That is a one. And the second one is sometimes application need a data from the server and maybe the data maybe sometimes exists, sometimes may not be exist. So this optional is a good approach, says that if the data is there then only try to use, if the data is not there I can maintain the crash free application. So we can utilize the memory more properly according to the requirement. That means if it is optional, whenever you don't want to use that variable, simply you can assign the nil, then automatically memory is going to deallocate for that variable. And the second one is that sometimes whatever the data I'm getting from the cloud server, it can be exist, may not be exist. In that particular case, I have to use optionals. Then what is the difference between question mark and exclamation mark? Question mark is indicating that variable is optional, whereas the exclamation mark is called unwrapping. So if you are going to work on the optional, in order to access the data, have to unwrap. In order to unwrap, you have to use exclamation mark at end of the variable. So forced unwrapping versus optional unwrapping. Forced unwrapping means directly accessing the data from the optional variable without checking any condition, and it is a risk it can be crash if the data is a nil. Force unwrapping means accessing the data directly from a variable without checking its status, whereas optional unwrapping in the sense checking the status. After checking the status, we got a confirmation that is not nil value, then we are unwrapping. That is called optional unwrapping process. Okay, then the basic continuation process. Shift basic operators. So whatever the fundamental operator you know in other languages like C, C++ or Java or the .NET, all the operators are compatible in Shift also. Apart from the existing operator, there are some specific operators are there which are compatible to shift itself. So if you consider assignment operator, that is simple equal to symbol which used to assign the data, whereas arithmetic operator plus minus addition subtraction multiplication division mod all are supported. Then unary minus unary plus operator, compound assignment operator. Compound assignment operator means like a equal to a plus b. In place of writing a equal to a plus b, we can write a plus equal to a minus equal to. Like assignment operator can be combined with another operators. Those are going to call compound assignment operator. This compound assignment operator can be combined with arithmetic operator, can be combined with some relation operators also. Then comparison operator, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equals to, equal equals to, not equals to. Whereas a logical operator, not, and, or, all are exist from other language. It doesn't have any specific. Conditional operator, that is ternary, question mark and colon. So among this list of operator, which operator is not supported in shift means increment decrement operators will not there. So if you consider C, C++, Java, there is a plus, plus, minus, minus. Increment, decrement operators are there. So in shift, increment, decrement operators are not there. If you want to perform any incremental operation or decremental operation, you must go with the arithmetic plus, arithmetic minus only. So addition, subtraction only you have to use, or the combination of compound assignment, plus equal to or minus equal to. No increment, decrement operators. If you are using increment, decrement operator, it gives error. Not at all, it is exist. So apart from that, rest of all are exist, even though bitwise operators also there. Then bitwise operators, so bitwise not, or, XOR, and left shift, right shift, everything is exist. So these are the basic fundamental operators which are comes from the C language itself. Nothing special to shift, everything is compatible from C language itself. Only the condition increment decrement operator will be not exist. So what is the use? When you want to perform any kind of basic arithmetic operations, then you can go for the arithmetic operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, anything. If you want to compare or if you want to write a conditions, then you have to go with relational operator, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equals to. If you want to write a logical operators, then logical and, or, and the conditional operator ternary. We will discuss according to requirement. Bitwise operators, I can't see any kind of real use in the bitwise operators, but yes, if something low level memory related or some system level programming if you are doing, maybe the bitwise operators can be used. But in my real time when I'm working on the iOS application, I never seen somewhere we are using the bitwise operators. Okay, so these are the fundamental operators and all are compatible in shift itself, and it comes from C language, not from their own. Then come to the next one. What is shift specific some operators? Nil collision operator is a shift specific, that is question mark question mark.
One question. Since you told
Yeah.
that increment and decrement operators are not there,
Yes.
why that concept is removed?
I'm not sure why they removed, because the behavior of increment decrement operators is completely, what I can say, it's not optimized. For example, I will go with the old traditional. When you are working with the C, increment decrement operator, if you are working on the turbo C editor, if you are working on the Windows compiler, if you are working on the Linux compiler, it has a different behaviors. So it like plus plus a if I am using, or a plus plus I am using, it will generate a different output on the different particular compilers. So in Shift also open source project. It's not specific to Windows or it's not specific to OS. So it's an open source programming anyone can use, and there is a compatibility. It can use Windows or Linux or Mac. So I'm assuming that if they have the problem with the behavior, that's why they eliminated this operator. So that is a primary concern from my side, but there is no any proper documentation why they removed, but only the concern maybe the different behavior is there, that's why they removed. Because I was have the experience with the increment decrement operators, especially in the Windows compilers or the Linux compiler, it gives a different output to you. That's why I'm thinking they removed, except that one, there is no standard document. What is the reason they removed? Okay, then, so here nil collision operator is there. What is this nil collision operator? How we will use the nil collision operator? Let's go into the practical, I will tell you. So here, nil collision operator, we have to give double question mark. Then the next one, range operators are there. This range operators has the variations. Closed range operator, three dots, dot, 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 if you say, that is called closed range operator. Off range operator, dot, dot, less than. Then one side range. One side range is essentially closed range means it will travel from A to B. So 1 to 10, I want to travel. If I want to travel from 1 to 10, I can use a closed range operator from 1 to 10. Off range in the sense the last value will not include it. That means if I'm going to use off range operator from 1 to 10, then I am traveling from 1 to 9 only. Last value will not included in the off range operator. Closed range operator will travel from X to Y, whereas the off range operator will travel from X to Y minus 1. So the last value will not included in the off range operator. Whereas a one side range, it can be dot 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 upper limit or it can be dot 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 lower limit. So I will explain you internally how it is going to use. These are going to call as a closed range operator. These are the specific to the shift. So rest of all are comes from the basics only. Okay. Any doubt? In practically you will learn how it is going to use. Then control flow statements. So you know the control flow statement. Control flow statement is nothing but controlling the behavior of your program or controlling the execution flow of your program is called control flow statement. And those control flow statements can be conditional statement, if else switch, iterative statement, while, for in, repeat while. There is no do while. So we have three standard loops: while, for, do while. Any other languages, when it comes to the shift, while is there, for is not there, for in will be there, repeat while is there, do while will not there. So while, for in, repeat while. These are the three iterative statements you are going to use in the shift. Then control transfer statements: continue from C itself, break from C itself, follow through. This is specific to shift, return and throw. These are all control flow statements. Apart from this, again they have some additional stuff. Early exit called guard statement. So these all are we are going to use. Nothing is nothing is a specific topic related. Everything is practically usable. So simple condition, if else or switch, iterative statement, while, for, in, repeat while, whereas a control transfer statement is a continue, break, follow through, return through, and early exit is a guard statement. Okay, now these are the theoretical. Let's enter into the practicals. Okay, so open the Xcode. Create a playground. Operators. Foundation. What is the difference between A value and B value?
It can
So
be optional.
basically, yeah.
Go ahead.
Um, A value can be optional, which can be either nil or either some value, or int is like fixed. It should be it is 20 only.
Yes, so always B value is a fix, it should be exist, it never be nil, whereas A value there is a possibility, it can be nil somehow after, okay? Then let's say, let some value, I can give directly A value plus, let me first create a optional because I want to explain nil collision to you. Okay, I created a sum value. Now I want to calculate sum value. Sum value equals to A value plus B value, basic arithmetic. So if you want to do same operation with the combination of what? Compound assignment, then we can do sum value plus equals to, oh, this is a not simple component statement, and value of optional type integer. Right, this is the case. So what it is saying that A value was optional and you are trying to use it. So whenever you are using a optional variable, in order to access, we have to unwrap the data. That's why it is saying that force unwrap. So I can keep like this. No, we can't do like this. Then what is the alternate? See the alternate. Some value equals, sorry?
By using if condition, one option.
Yeah, possible, but another optional which I was introduced today itself. A value, I know this is optional, right? So I know this is optional, maybe it can nil. So whenever it is nil, I can assign some default value. Then make sure question mark, question mark. It's called nil collision operator, 0 plus B value. So comment this line, print some value. Now here, what it does here. So nil collision operator, it's a condition type, or you can imagine it's a condition type. Okay, there is a value, it is optional. If this is nil, then utilize 0. This is a concept. So if it is nil, utilize 0. Right now, what is the sum value? If you are expecting the sum value, it will print 10. Why it is printing 10? Why it is printing 10?
We have to force unwrap it. Only then the value will come.
But here I am giving already, right? If it is optional, pick the data. So A value 10, whereas a B value 20, then some value is a nil, but here, okay, you are saying that force unwrap. Now force unwrapping. Then also it is giving 10 only. Okay, try to do like this. It's giving 30. Okay, now see here. Now try like this. So can you understand what is the flow, why it is behaving like this? So here what's happening, if you say like this, it's not going to consider this as an expression. It will try to pick only one value directly, and it is assigning 10 directly to that variable. So here, this nil collision operator specific to expression or the specific to a value only? This nil collision operator is a specific to a value. So what we are doing right now, when I say parenthesis, from this entire expression, pick only one value, either 10, either 0. So pick only one value, either 10, either 0, and it is picking 10, and this is returning 20, and you got the 30 as a value. Okay, then let's say if I am going to assign like a value equals to nil. Yes, I can make nil, it is possible. So if I make nil this one, then if I'm going to print second value, then I am getting 20. That means when it is nil, it is picking what? 0. Now I will say, okay, when it is nil, pick 40. So if it is nil, pick 40. Then my value should be 30. 40 plus 20, it is printing 60. Perfect. So this is one more alternate way to work with what? To work with the optional. So you can use force unwrap, or you can use optional unwrap, or you can use nil collision operator. But whenever you are using the nil collision operator, left hand side expression must be optional, and right hand side you have to provide a default value. So optional variable nil collision of default value. So if optional is nil, it returns default value. This is the behavior. So whenever you say optional variable question mark, that is nil collision and the default value. So if optional is nil, it returns a default value. This is a behavior. This is one more kind of safe programming when you are working with the optional. Okay, let's say I want to go with a simple finding the maximum value or something like this. Can say simple if else statement. Let x value equals to 10. Let y value equals to 20. Let z value equals to 30. Now I want to find out the max value. So I want to find out the max value, where max value is integer optional. Okay, how to construct the simple if of x value is a greater than of y value at the same time, and x value is greater than of z value. You no need to give any parenthesis when you are working with if else. Else if of y value is greater than of z value, else. Right. So what it is doing, if x value is a greater than y value and what is the logical and behavior?
Both the statements should
For the condition.
compulsory,
Should be
like,
true, right? Yes.
yeah.
So logical and, if you consider, true combination, it returns true. If any other combination like true false or false true or false false, it returns false only. This is this behavior. Whereas our behavior is what? True true or true false or false true, it returns true. Whereas false false, then it returns false. Whereas a not behavior, if true, it returns false. If false is a reverse. If it is false, it returns true. That's it. Same behavior. So whenever say x value is a greater than y value and an x value greater than z value, then max value must be x value. Simple expression. I'm not writing a big logics. Just I'm explaining the simple syntaxes to you. Max value equals to y value. And finally, else part is that max value equals to z value. Then print of max value expression of max value, right? Then it is saying that try to use. So what I can do? Question mark. I can use nil also, or better to go for 0. Right. So in place of doing like this, what we can do, we can ask that if the we can write like this also. If max value not equals to nil, then also we can do like this. So if you are running the program, see you got max value 30, 30. Done. So here, what is the syntactical changes we are observing between the C, C++, Java, or the C# or any other background? One thing, there is no semicolon. That is a standard way of shift. Second one, there is no parenthesis. Even though you are going to write like this, or even though without that one also, it's fine. It's no problem at all. So whenever you are working with the shift, at the time of constructing any condition, using the parenthesis is optional. If you require to combine something specific expressions, then yes, you can go with what? Parenthesis. So if you are working with a simple if-else statement, you no need to worry about the parenthesis. By default, it is optional. Okay. Then now if you seen here, whatever the logic is constructed, this logic is completely simple expressions. This logic doesn't have the complex expression, it doesn't have a complex behavior, it's a simple logic. So whenever you are using a simple if else statement, in place of constructing these all things, we can go for what? Ternary operators. So we can go for the ternary operator. That means in place of doing these all things, what I can do, I can go for the ternary operators also. So see, you guys are using Windows, right? If you can select these lines, let me try this one. Select these all lines. Done. Select these all lines. Then if you are using the Windows laptop, control and there is a question mark symbol like this, commenting multiple lines in a single flow. Control question mark. Can you try? Puneet,
Yes, sir. Done.
it's right. It's a control plus question mark button, right? Or you are using Mac or something?
Yeah, it is an Hackintosh, so no problem.
Okay. I mean to say the layout. If it is a Windows layout, then control and question mark symbol multiple lines. So this is a behavior. Otherwise, you can go like the same button, commit, uncommit, commit, uncommit. Same button can be used for both options. Okay. Now if you want to do multiple comments, then you can go like this, or else you can go like this also. Both are valid. Now what I'm trying to suggest here, whenever you have the simple if else statement, in place of constructing simple if else, you can go for the conditional operator. That is nothing but conditional operators or ternary operators. So how to do with this one? Max value equals to x value is a greater than of y value. At the same time, x value is a greater than of z value. If it is true, I will say x value is a maximum, or else y value is greater than of z value question mark of y value colon of z value. This is one more approach. So if you have a simple if else statement, this is a way to do those all options. Finish. Let me explain the flow. So how it is going to work? Split into 3 steps. This is something called left side expression. This is something called middle expression. and this entire part we are going to call as a right side expression. Okay, so according to the flow, this expression is satisfied. So x value is what? 10, y value 20, z value 30. So if you consider this expression, x value 10, 10 greater than 20 is false, and 20 greater than 30 also false. So whenever the left side expression is false, then your control will goes to right side expression. So on false, it goes to the right side expression. So in the right side expression, what is there again? In the right side expression, again it has this expression, y value. What is the y value? 20. 20 greater than 30, false. So when it is false, again it is moving to right side, and this is the final resultant value which assigns to max. This is the behavior. So when you are working with the conditional operators, if the left side expression is a true, then it returns a middle value. If the left side expression is false, then it returns the right side. So in the right side also, if you have one more expression, again same thing, left, middle, right. So left side expression false returns the right side. If the left side expression true, returns the middle argument. So whenever you have a simple if else statement, in place of writing the simple if else statement, for code optimization, for reducing the code, you simply can go with the ternary operators or conditional operators. The best approach to use this operator on the specific cases.